All righty. Again, thank you everybody for joining us for our webinar on Autodesk Construction Cloud Bridge. Hope everybody had a good long weekend. My name is Ian MacArthur. I'm an account manager here at SolidCAD with our construction team. And with me is my colleague, Patrick. Patrick, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Ian. Hello. My name is Patrick Shewan. I'm a SolidCAD technical consultant in the AEC industry and more specialized in the construction. Back to you, Ian.
Thanks, Patrick. So if anybody watching the webinar has any questions or comments while we're going through it, please feel free to enter those into the chat, and we will set aside some time at the end of the call to go through those with everybody. So I think it makes sense to begin with some of the challenges that we hear about when talking with customers in construction, specifically around collaborating. They're dealing with siloed data, often having different storage systems and different tools that aren't connected, making it harder to find data when they need it. We hear a lot about manual send and receive workflows. Information is often shared in multiple ways, with emails, FTP sites, or other cloud sharing platforms, which makes it difficult for other teams to ensure they're accessing the right information when they need it. And another big concern we hear about is data ownership. Who owns the data in a collaborative project? Construction companies want to ensure that they have continued access to their data or their valuable IP. So what is Bridge and how does this help solve some of those challenges? Bridge is built to solve the challenges companies encounter when collaborating across teams and projects. Bridge is a new feature within Autodesk Build that allow teams to share sheets and files across projects, including those hosted on another company's ACC account. Here are some of the core features that this new tool includes: the ability to share sheets across different accounts or between projects within the same account. Team members can specify certain sheets to automatically update when a new version is published. You're also, in addition to sheets, teams can share files across projects and accounts as well. And you can set up a direct project linking tool that allows you to create connections between projects to easily set up consistent sharing of files and sheets. And with that, I'll hand things over to my colleague, Patrick, who's going to walk through the tool in the Autodesk Construction Cloud to show you how it works.
Thanks, Ian. So now we will be looking at some screenshots from the Autodesk Construction Cloud, the ACC platform, and more specifically from the Bridge tool itself. As you can see here, we have a list of features I want to mention. First, the project picker. So we have selected the project, the AC Sterling, and I have selected the build product because I want to give some examples on the sheets. And finally, when we're looking at the Bridge tool, you can see there's 4 sections mainly: the incoming, outgoing, automations, and bridge projects. We're going to be talking about each one separately. So first, we're going to be starting with the incoming. As you can see here, if you can go to the next slide, Ian, please. When we click on import, this is the first example I'm going to show. You can search for projects in the ACC, and you can select multiple projects. In this case, I have selected just one, the office building, and then you will search for sheets. I have selected A, which is for the discipline of the architectural drawings. And the system is going to show you those sheets that it found on the project, and then we're going to select to review those sheets. So for the next slide, we're going to see the review sheets, and this is where you can remove any sheets that you don't want to use. And you can also see at the bottom the automatically import new sheet versions option. This is mainly related to the automation section on Bridge. We will talk about this later, but just to give you an idea about this, whenever you add new sheets to your project, and if you have another project bridge to it, it's going to automatically send those new versions to the other project. Now, after importing the sheets, you're going to see here the package which was imported. And again, we are still on the incoming, those sheets or files that we are sharing with another project or vice versa. So we have these that were imported to this project. And if you click on this package, and you will see, Ian, if you can show us next slide, please. It's going to show us the list of sheets that you have. So here we have this list of sheets that we have shared or imported from this project. And this is just one example of how you can share. So next we are going to see the outgoing section. And I took this screenshot before sharing those sheets. As you can see on top, I have highlighted the other project, which is the office building. So now I have switched the project to the office building to switch perspective. And now I am looking at the outgoing. So first we saw the incoming sheets from the perspective of the other project. Now we are on the office building, and we want to see how those sheets were sent, and they will show in the outgoing. So on the next slide, we will see the same example, the ones that were imported. And this is how we see that they are outgoing from this project, the office building, to the Sterling. So it's from each project's perspective. Next, we're going to see another example here. So we're still on the office building, and I want to show another example or another method to do this. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I have chosen build because it has sheets. And as you can see here, the sheets tool, I have selected it, and I have selected a set of sheets, which are basically the same ones that we imported earlier. And when you click on share, it's going to pop up a new window. And you will see here 3 options to share. Now, the third option that we see on top, which is another project or share with another project, this is mainly the bridge tool. And you will add the title to the package or the sets of sheets that you are sharing. And then you will select to which project you want to send them. So in this case, you are sending them to the Sterling project. And again, with the same option to automatically send new sheet versions. Now, this is, again, the automations. When we share those sheets, you're going to see it in the outgoing because we are sending them or sharing them with this other project. So you will see the title that you've added here, and those sheets were sent to the Sterling project. Now, on the right side, sorry, Ian, if you could just come back, thank you. On the right side, just wanted to mention, before going to the next example, that under incoming and outgoing, you're going to see this column automation. Now, for these 2 examples here, it says no, because these were mainly the original set of sheets that were shared. Now, whenever we add new versions to those sheets, it's going to show us as yes, because they are going to be automatically transferred to the new project. And we're going to show that in the next example. Now, this is another example just to show you a new version for sheet A1. So as you can see here, V3 is the version. So below it, you can see it's all V2. Now, these are the versions of the sheets. Concerning the version set, so V1 was basically the original set. V2 was the revision 1 set. Now, V3, I've created a new version set, which is the revision 2. And on the next slide, we're going to see when I added this V3 on the office building project, how it was automatically sent to the Sterling project. As you can see, it shows in Bridge. Under the automation, it's showing us yes. This is mainly because it was automatically transferred or shared with the Sterling project. Now, if you can go to the next slide, please, Ian. This is just the same example showing us the A1 when I click on that package, which was automated. So if I click on it to see what does it include, and you can see here it includes the A1 sheet with the new version set revision 2. Now, the next section, which is automations, you will see here the list of projects along with the sheet automation. So in this example, we are again on the AC Sterling project. We see that we have 3 projects with automations, so 3, 30, and 7 sheets respectively for each project. And the example we gave, it was the office building with 7 sheets. And you also see the folder automations. This is mainly for files tool. So under sheets on the left-hand side, you can see the files tool also, which includes the folders. And in this case, we haven't done any folder automations. We only gave the example on the sheets. Now, this is from the other perspective. We have switched projects again. I'm on the office building. So I can see there's only the AC Sterling project with the automations in this case. Now, on the right side, if I click on that, on the option to see for this set of automations, I can manage sheet automations, including resuming and pausing. And if I click on manage, we're going to see that you have the option to pause automations or delete automations. And of course, you can select all sheets or just one sheet if you want. And on top, you have the active automations and the paused automations next to it in case you have paused any automations. Now, for the next slide. So here I did a side-by-side comparison for the last section, which is the bridged projects. And I want to mention here that as soon as you share sheets or files, so I'm talking about incoming and outgoing, you're gonna be automatically seeing those linked projects in here. However, you can also bridge a new project. So in case where you want to send out an invitation to someone who's not on your ACC account, he has another account, you don't know the name of the project, for example, you can bridge a new project by sending him an invitation. Now, we are seeing here on the left side, the office building, it's bridged to the AC Sterling project. And on the right side, from the other perspective, we have the AC Sterling project bridged to 3 projects, and of course, including the office building. Now, if we click on the bridge a new project, in order to send out that invitation, here I gave an example with Ian. So I wrote down Ian's email address and then a message for him before sending the invitation to bridge a project. Now, when we click on send, it's going to send out an email. Now we see it here as pending on the ACC platform. On the next slide, we're going to see an example of the email that Ian received. So Patrick is inviting you to bridge one of your projects to their project office building. Now, Ian has the option to choose from his list of projects. So if Ian clicks on choose your project to bridge, moving on to this slide, we can see the invitation. So it's going to transfer Ian to the ACC platform, and he will get this message in here, accept invitation to bridge a project. Then Ian can select any of his projects, or specifically the project that he wants us to collaborate on or to share sheets and files on. And then he will choose to bridge the projects. Now back to you.
Thank you, Patrick, for going over how those functions work within the platform itself. I think it's useful to go over some use cases and some examples of where Bridge could be really valuable. First, let's look at where Bridge can be used when you're collaborating within your company. And there's sort of 2 examples here, one being a mega project, where a GC is working on a large site with multiple buildings going up, and they want to treat each of those buildings as its own sub-project, but they can then use Bridge to help aggregate all of the data, all of the sheets, all of the information, and bridge that share sheets, share files with a centralized project to make managing the overall site much more easy, while allowing each of the individual project teams working on each of their buildings all the data and everything that they want in one centralized place as well. Another example would be if you're an owner, or where you've got multiple ACC accounts for different business units, or self-performing groups, and you need to collaborate on a single project across those different units, Bridge allows that exchange of sheets and files to make managing that a lot more simple. Some other examples of collaborating across teams. So this, I think, is more broadly where the tool is going to be really valuable for people, where you're an architect, a subcontractor, general contractor working on a singular project. A few different examples here. In the instance of some particular projects with really strict privacy and security requirements, where you want to create ACC sites for all of the different subcontractors, so everybody's separate. There's no shared folder system where everybody goes in. This allows the subcontractors to access the information that you only want them to see as you share that across Bridge to their specific sub-project in their account. Example number 2 would be you're a subcontractor and you want to make sure that you have access to all of your documentation once the project ends. By using Bridge, the GC can share relevant project files and relevant sheets with your account site, ensuring that you will continue to have access to that once the project is closed out, if you ever need to go back and access that information. A third example would be you're an architect and you've got valuable IP. You don't want to share that in a general project with all these different subtrades and other collaborators on it. Using Bridge will allow you to share specific files, specific sheets to the GC in order to protect your IP and your own data there. So with that, we'll move on to some questions. I'll throw my contact info up on the screen here. If there are any questions, please feel free to submit them in the Q&A or in the chat section, and Patrick and I will get to those. Patrick, you've been keeping sort of an eye on that. Is there anything in there as of now?
Not yet. We are still waiting for any questions.
Sure. Well, we'll give it a minute and allow that to populate. And if not, we'll give everybody some time back in their day. And also, I say, if you don't want to sort of publicly put out a question in the chat, you can always feel free to email me or reach out. Again, my contact info is on the screen, and we'll certainly get back to you offline. Does anything come in there, Patrick?
No, not yet. Maybe you should give it just another minute to see if any questions will be asked. I guess we have no questions for today.
All right. Well, if that is the case, again, feel free to reach out by phone or email. If anything does come up, if you think of something after the fact, always happy to help out. And with that, thank you for attending our short webinar here on the Autodesk Construction Cloud Bridge, a new tool included with Autodesk Build to make cross-team and cross-project communication and collaboration a much easier process. With that, thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.